go. Hello everyone, Fee and Sam here. Delighted to be joined by Tommy, who's set up an amazing project called The Community, which both Sam and I are really excited about, aren't we?
Yes.
Can't wait to get this out there and to share it with you. So I'm going to tell you why we're so excited. I'm going to read this off the website and then hand over to Tommy to kind of give an overview about all of it and how we got started. But this is, you can find, we'll share all the details below, but this is the website. It's www.thecommunityuk.org. And so we have the vision for the community, a national independent community free from governance and tyranny, focused on freedom, skill sharing, connection and sustainability.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, you got me there already. And we've got the mission for the community: to build a network of free thinkers around the country. This network will act as a support system and build independent, sustainable, off-grid communities that don't rely on the wider systems and current infrastructure, including, but not limited to, education, healthcare, farming, energy and power, law, construction, and more. This network of free-thinking individuals will come together when and if the current system collapses or can no longer provide support and safety to the people of this country, and pool resources to ensure that no one goes without and a brighter future is created. So this is obviously something that we've been talking about for a long time now with the stands as they've evolved. You know, it's been very much about getting communities together, creating alternative communities. But so many people are like, where do we start? You know, what do we do? They're not sure about what skills are required, how we can come together and actually do something that is going to make a difference. So this is why we're really, really excited to hear about your project, Tommy. So yeah, how did this all get off the ground? When did you get going with this?
So the community started in November. Previous to that, I was involved with a project raising funds to renovate a building and a huge patch of land to turn it into a school, a practical education in Warwickshire. I've been waiting since November to have any contractual agreements put in place with regards to this, which has been very demoralising, to be completely honest with you. But in this period of time, I've seen the need for, as we all have, you know, for healthcare systems, for healing circles, healing centres, for, you know, growing food and food cooperatives all across the country, amongst a whole host of other things. So started off obviously looking at the education side, and then it's just grown. It's just absolutely blossomed from that. So we started off obviously with the school, and we are now we're working with a couple of organisations, Crops Not Shops being one of them. We work hand in hand with those guys, and we are getting people back to the land. We're getting people growing, teaching people how to grow in their gardens, teaching people how to, you know, even to germinate seeds. We are setting up forest schools, schools of practical education now all across the country. Mine ran in Warwickshire to start with last Sunday, and we are going to be setting up the next one in Manchester. We've got one after setting up in Wales, another one setting up in Essex. We have another one that's going to be structured in Glastonbury as well, and loads and loads and loads of other sites that are popping up because you know, the amount of wonderful people that are involved with this project. We're being donated land all across the country to use for growing. You know, we're being donated land, woodlands, for people to be taught how to, you know, light fires and forage for food. You know, as we all know, you know, food's going through the roof like everything else is. So that's something that's very, very close to our hearts. it's grown beyond anything that I would ever imagine. And you know, we've got a team of about, I think there's about 70 people that have been vetted, that have been checked, had background checks done on them, because we don't let just any old person into the, you know, the team or the admin sort of side of things. We do have a very tight ship here, and yeah, we've got about 70 people that are working, volunteering completely for free on this project, which is massive in itself. These people are dedicating their time, their efforts, and we've also you know, got an incredible admin team on the go that's being structured at the moment. We've got a website that's being created for the forest schools. We've already got one on the go for the community, and are now pushing forwards with that in a big way. So we've had mainstream schools get in contact who wish to bring their children out on excursions, which in my eyes is just absolutely phenomenal. You know, we've got a real chance here of educating an entire generation of children and getting them back to the land and getting them involved with growing food, you know, with actual real life skills, you know, that you're not taught in normal schools nowadays. So I'm absolutely made up, you know, I'm buzzing every single day, and more and more is coming in every single day, to the point where, you know, I don't actually like picking up my phone in the morning some days, because it's just I know you can probably imagine that you've probably got the same thing yourself, sorry, but yeah, some days it's just too much, just far too much, but it's all in the name of good, you know, and obviously comes from the purest of hearts involved with this project. So yeah, it's massive. It's absolutely massive.
It's really exciting. I think it's you know, it just shows again, you know, the power of people when they come together. And obviously over the last couple of years, we've seen that our current school systems, they haven't been putting children first. Over sort of decades, we've seen, certainly from my opinion anyway, schools moving away from sort of, you know, the things that, you know, will actually help people on with their life. And I think, you know, there's a lot more people finding it very restrictive. You know, I think the word sort of indoctrination come to mind for a lot of people. They think about the current system, and certainly from, you know, stats and stuff, we're seeing a huge increase in, I know there are a lot of terms, but kind of unschooling, home education, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot more people moving towards that, and a lot more people sort of really reassessing, you know, is that something that I can do for my children? Certainly for me, my daughter absolutely loves school and she's really happy within the current system, but my son, I don't think, you know, is designed for the current system. And I would absolutely love, you know, for there to be more opportunities and more alternatives to be able to kind of give him the kind of education that would suit him. And I know, you know, obviously you've got a son and that's one of your drives, but it certainly, you know, when it comes to my children, something that, you know, fills me with joy that there are people like you that are really committed to kind of creating something that is going to really help our children and give them, you know, a much brighter future, in my opinion.
Yeah. Very humbled by your kind words. Thank you.
It's
Thank
just
you ever
what
so
we
much.
need, isn't it? This is what we need, and it's every system really that we've got in place. We've been conditioned to become completely dependent on. It's all part of the plan. You know, we've been more and more removed from any kind of connection to nature, to just living outside of the rat race, really. I mean, it's kids don't know where their food comes from. I mean, we're kind of in the middle of, you know, we had a bit more of a, or I do, I'm probably a bit older, but a bit more of a natural childhood, but, you know, still you've seen that shift away. And so, you know, we had our grandparents grow, it was normal to grow food. You know, they might not have grown everything, but everyone had their vegetable patch, you know, and you've just seen it over the decades. It's just deteriorated. It had, you know, the advent of these massive supermarkets that, you know, I mean, even when I was a kid, of course, we had supermarkets, but nothing like this huge places where you're everything from under one roof. Then, you know, the working hours were increased to the point where you need, you know, everything's been geared up to make you absolutely dependent on these monolithic corporations, because you literally don't have the time to be doing these things yourself. And before you know it, then we're in this situation where the plug can be pulled and you're absolutely helpless. So this is, you know, this kind of community project that's spreading nationwide, thank goodness, it's exactly what people need to be doing. We've been talking about it ever since this has all kicked off, but again, it's the practicalities of it for so many people who haven't come from a background where they've been working with the land, or they've been in alternative education systems, and they know about common law and things like this. It's like, oh God, where do we even begin? So that's why we're really excited, because this is what we've been wanting to come through the stands. And, you know, it has a lot of people have been doing incredible things, but I know there are a lot of people that have been like, wow, it's too big to even know where to begin. So how would you, what's the best way for people to kind of get involved, Tommy?
We have obviously got a Telegram channel for the community. We haven't set up anything on Facebook because, as you well know, you know, I think you're on your fifth group now. Fifth group, is it?
We are, yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't start anything on there purely because, you know, it just gets taken down or shadow banned. So we've got a Telegram channel running. Within that Telegram channel, we've got links to regional areas of the country. So we've sectioned the area up into regions or districts. Well, in fact, I can't say the word district because I've already been told off for having reference to Hunger Games. With some crazy individual, so I'm not allowed to say that. But yeah, we've split the country down into regions, and in the regional groups, all the links are actually in the main Telegram channel. But all the regional groups have also got some of them, not all of them, have got down to county level now. So we've got you know, county communities on the go, people growing food together. We've got a fair few villages and towns that are all growing food together and going into, you know, a food cooperative, and you know, people who haven't grown before, they're being educated on how to grow 1 or 2 or 3 different types of vegetables by ourselves, and crops not shops, and they basically are then able to take their food in at harvest to the food cooperatives and share it freely with you know, their neighbours or the communities that are being rebuilt. So the best thing to do is just to get into the main channel firstly, and then you know, move your way through the regional groups into county groups. We've got a lot of you know, a lot of growing projects on the go. We've got a lot of people who are going around to each other's gardens to help them out, and also home education groups as well that are quite prevalent in these regional groups as well. We've got schools that have been set up already in Manchester. We've got forest schools that are obviously coming into fruition, and we are just about to start making headway on a massive project which will be running every Thursday night on the channel, which is a mindfulness and well-being project that's being brought forward from some of the healing practitioners within the community, because we've got, as you can probably imagine, so many healers, so many spiritual beings within this, and yeah, big love to all my spiritual people, like big love to them, but yeah, they are starting to put something together now, a collective together to help people all across the country, people who may be struggling. So this is gonna start running every Thursday. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Many beautiful people involved with it. So yeah, the Telegram channel will be a good place to start off, obviously because we can't get banned on there, we can't get removed, and it's just yeah, it's a really lovely place. We're not fighting against any like mandates or vaccine things or anything to do with the old system. We don't even allow it in there, you know. Any negativity is quashed straight away. And we're purely just posting creation and building things in there, you know. We've got a lot of people who are involved who have been vaccinated, you know, who have woken up through their, through their journey. Which is why we don't tolerate anything like people are going around calling themselves pure bloods and all this crap at the moment, and I don't agree with it in the slightest. It's all it is another divide. It's just purely another divide for people to latch onto.
Totally agree.
And at this point in time, with the incoming shitstorm that is about to hit big time, we need as many people working together as possible. As many as possible. So it's really, it's an amazing thing that started, which encompasses so many different organisations from across the United Kingdom. We've got people who are experts in mycology, people who are experts in plant medicine. We've got a big legal team that deal with natural law and educating people to get away from council tax and water, electric. We've got people who work within it who are removing meters, and installing meters for people, as we previously touched on. The list is endless. I could be sat here for hours going on about
it. It is
this.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, there's a variety of projects starting, for sort of individual areas. But I think what's quite unique about the community is that it's not just food growing, it's not just the home education, it's not just one particular thing. It really is about bringing communities together of a huge range of people and just setting up a community, that can sort of sustain itself, where we all help each other out. And in my view, in the way that humanity was intended, the way people have always been supposed to live until we've been divided, we've been separated, as we said before, moved away from our roots in the land, in plants and that kind of thing. And it's fantastic. I think we spoke the other day, Tom, about the sort of the time is now, particularly with regard to the growing of food. Obviously, we're all quite aware that there are, the food shortages have been talked about quite a lot over the last couple of years, but we're really starting to see that moving along. And I know you've got some friends with the farming community and things that have shared some sort of quite sort of concerning news. And obviously, this isn't about, putting the fear of God into anyone or anything else like that, but it is about being aware that that is coming. The time of year, I don't know very much about growing my own food. I gave it a bash last year, with mixed success, but obviously this is the time of year that it's really, really important to be sort of getting the ground ready, getting the seeds in the ground, ready for kind of the harvesting later. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Crops Not Shops initiative?
Yes. We work with Crops Not Shops. Big up Crops Not Shops. They are an absolute incredible bunch of people. They pushed this forward within the last 2 years, and they are absolutely amazing. They are, all the people involved with the community, they're all supreme beings. They really are, they're incredible people. So they've set up a mass amount of food cooperatives across the United Kingdom, and models in which you can get educated to grow vegetables. We've even got teams that can be sent out between the community and Crops Not Shops that can actually come out to your garden and transform it and create raised beds, and obviously help you along with anything that you need or you may require, even down to landscaping teams as well, for ponds, etc. So they are moving at a rapid pace, they really are. And I am very, very honoured and humbled to be working alongside them. They're set up internationally as well in Ireland and South Africa, as are we. And we're basically just all together as a sort of conglomerate entity. We're basically educating people to to get their hands dirty and get back to the land and start planting seeds. There is a massive requirement for this to be done now. So we've got farmers who work within the community. We've got farmers who are representatives who work across the regional board. I myself have got a fair few friends who are farmers as well. And what's happening at the moment is it's basically setting precedent for a perfect storm. The price of fertilizer has gone up to £1,000 a ton, which is just ridiculous. Roundup, pesticides. You know, I know a lot of people don't agree with pesticides, but the thing that's very prominent here is most people in society eat food covered in pesticides, and they don't care about it. You know, pesticides have gone up from £4 something a litre. This is Roundup in particular. It's gone from £4 something a litre to £120 a litre. So therefore, the farmers are cutting back on that as well. So all in all, the gross produce is going to be reduced massively. You know, topping this with the red diesel price, which is now £1.50 a litre, whereby it was 70p a litre a couple of months ago. Farmers are basically being squeezed out, and if that isn't even enough, you know, to stop them or to make them think otherwise about, you know, what the fuck am I doing? There is also a real sneaky bill that's going through from the government at the moment, a solar farm bill, which in essence is stopping farmers from using their own land to grow food on. They are going to be notified in September, which is also, funnily enough, you know, the time when the harvests come in. They're going to be notified then whether the government are going to use their patches of land for solar farms or not. So it's a very calculative game of chess that's being played here. Also, probably they probably have preempted the fact that a lot of people are going to go to farmers and try and rent fields to grow loads of vegetables as well, and the farmers are now having to turn people away. You know, and also not only that, but aren't able to grow on certain patches of their land. So this year, without a shadow of a doubt, a good person who explains this really, really well is the Ice Age farmer. If anyone hasn't heard of him, get on to his channel, have a look and educate yourselves, because we are in for the biggest shitstorm ever. And if you haven't got food in the ground, if you haven't got seeds in the ground now, you need to get seeds in the ground. Get rid of your lawns and turn it into a vegetable patch, because this is no joke what's going on. And by, you know, I'd say by August time, even probably before that, you know, it's becoming mainstream news at the moment in America and Europe that there are going to be food shortages. This is an engineered food shortage, and if you are not ready and if you are not prepared for it, you are going to starve. You know, you are going to have to beg for food or get rationed by the government or whatever they're planning, you know, whatever they're planning to come forth. So I can't stress this enough at the moment. You know, any patch of land you've got, even if you live in the centre of a city, you know, get some pots in your windowsill. You know, get some pots on your balcony. Get involved in a local food cooperative. Get involved in a local allotment and start growing food. You know, because this is of utmost importance. It really is. It's going to be bad. You know, it's going to be real bad. We've got excuse me, we've got farmers involved in the community that are now shutting their farms down and creating teams of people to protect their farms, you know, because they fully see what is going to happen. There is going to be a mass evacuation from cities and, you know, humongous towns when people can't find any food. You know, when the supermarkets are stripped, what are you going to do for food? You know, you're going to go out searching for food. So it's of utmost importance to get this sorted now, to get food in the ground and grow an abundance of food and start teaching yourself, you know, how to pickle food, how to preserve it, how to dehydrate it, how to save the food that you grow, and also run on, you know, cycles of vegetables in greenhouses or polytunnels that you are going to be able to grow all year round as well. Because yeah, when this actually hits, you know, it's going to be bigger than a toilet roll crisis. You know, it's going to be bigger than a petrol crisis. You know, you're going to have nothing to eat. You know, it's really that clear cut. And people think I'm a nut job, you know, people think I'm crazy by explaining these things and getting all heated up and very passionate about it. But I you know, I can't stress enough how much this needs to be. It needs to be done now. You know, now's the time to get your seeds in the ground. It really is.
And you know, this is the thing, people might go, oh my God, you know, and panic, but you know, there are people who know what to do. So we've got this community where everybody can get their advice, and if people realize how much food it's possible to grow in just a few gardens, it's not that every single garden in a village would have to have a huge amount of things. It's nature is so abundant, so you just have a few gardens. But again, it comes down to the community coming together. because it's when people this is when people get really freaked out. It's when you think, oh, you know, you're on your own, and oh my God, you've got to somehow suddenly become a farmer out of nowhere. No, there are people that can help you.
Yeah,
I'm a newbie to this, you know. I'm the same. I've never done any gardening. I'm getting into it now. But knowing that there are people who can support, they can, you know, people might have massive gardens out there, and I hope you do, and just come forward and say, go for it here. You know, the land is there. We can have people come in and plant things, but it is, I'm very much like, I don't like to be alarmist and frighten people, but it is true. Like this has been a long time coming, actually, and we're seeing it this year now. So we've had 2 years of, oh my God, you know, we're building our stocks up and growing a little bit, you know, here and there, but actually it's coming. It is happening, and we need to be prepared. And like I say, we've got people out there who know exactly what they're doing, like this community project that you've got going. So just get involved, just get involved as soon as possible. Come together. It's all about community. Anything that we're doing together is going to ease your mind, because you're not going to be feeling alone in this. And the energy is amazing. This is what grows things. This is what spreads, because it's so positive, and it's so getting back to our roots, isn't it? Literally, this is how we're supposed to be living. People are just going to be drawn in more and more and more, and we're going to have huge numbers of people doing this. So the first step is to just get involved, find out where the nearest project is happening, get your garden involved, you know, get your plot of land involved, get an allotment, or, you know, whatever it is, but just take that first step. Don't panic and think, oh my God, just the first step. That's all it takes, really.
I think that's the beauty of it as well, is that, you know, what's happening right now, you know, on a global scale in sort of every area of our lives, if you allow it to be, it can be very, very terrifying. You know, everything's collapsing, you know, with these food shortages and whatever. But, you know, what we're presenting here is obviously, you know, an opportunity, and actually, you know, getting involved and taking those first steps, with practical actions, you know, are the very first way to relieve that fear, to take a step back from that fear, because, you know, living in that fearful energy, you know, is no good for anybody. So, you know, take those steps and get involved, and it will just, the fear will subside, because once you are taking those steps to preparing, you will start to feel more empowered, you will start to feel more confident, and more prepared for what's coming. And I think, you know, that's probably one of the most important things we can do.
Yeah, empower each other. Even if you've got, you know, even if you're you see your neighbours are growing food in their garden, go knock their door. Literally go knock their door, start talking to them. You know, we've had one of the representatives who's gone forward to the local parish and the churches, and have basically this individual, this wonderful individual, has managed to get not only her whole village growing, but another 3 villages next to her as well. And every single person is now taking part in a, you know, in a humongous growing operation. This is four villages that are next to each other, are all doing the same. So it doesn't take much, you know. Everyone's starting to wake up. Even the people that are asleep are starting to see that there's a real problem here, you know, with fuel shortages and diesel being basically eradicated from all the petrol stations at the moment. Yeah, so I fully believe, you know, even if you go onto the community and don't find somebody necessarily right slap bang in your area, just go and speak to your community. You know, that's what it's about. There's so many people who do still sort of need a leader or leading with this, and, you know, you are your own leader. You know, it's been people have been completely indoctrinated throughout society to believe that they are not worthy, you know, not worthy of living their own lives, of creating their own lives. And that's one, you know, that's one thing that I'm very, very passionate about, is helping people to believe in themselves and empowering them, you know, and inspiring them. But we can't do this for you. You know, you need to do it yourself. There's information out there everywhere. We're providing information on how to grow. You know, if you want to get involved with the food sharing network, Crops Not Shops have a website, which is www.cropsnotshops.co.uk. We obviously are working with those guys to basically get as many people growing as possible. And even if that's not for you, get on YouTube, you know, get on Google, have a look, you know, literally have a look on how to grow some seeds or how to get your plants in the ground. You don't need to grow, you know, 12 different types of vegetables. You can grow 1 or 2 or 3. Get your neighbour to do 3 different vegetables, your neighbour after that to do 3 different vegetables. And at the end of the harvest season, you know, you've got a mass amount of food between you all. It's it really does, you know, it speaks volumes to rebuild your community, to rebuild it with the people that are in your area, whether they are vaccinated or not. Well, it doesn't matter at this point in time, you know. It doesn't matter if, even if you don't like them, you know, just literally just get it on the go, get it on the go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, my son keeps making his head round the door. So, bye.
Yeah, that's what communities were actually about before. You know, I mean, we're actually just going back to how we used to function in society, and it's what's really lovely as well is that everybody's got skills, everybody's got something that they can bring to this. You know, no matter what it is, there's always something that everybody can bring to their community. But so many of us have kind of lost that. You know, you're just like a cog in the machine, aren't you, much of the time, and all those natural abilities and things that you maybe don't really appreciate even in yourself. This is the kind of place where everybody can flourish, everybody's contributing, and it's like I said, that's what spreads, that's what it draws people in, because it's just that amazing energy, and it is all about just the focus is, like you say, it's not on anti this or that, it's turn away from that completely. We're getting on with our own thing here, actually. Thanks very much. And that's where the focus is, and it's really, really powerful, because we do create our own reality. And so, yeah, it's if that's where your focus is on, is making this something amazing for us all to live in, then that just boosts it itself. So yeah, we're all for it, aren't we? I can't wait to get
absolutely. Yeah, and I think obviously, you know, we've got somewhere in the region of, you know, 800 stands spread out across the whole of the UK. You know, if every single stand was able to, you know, pull together and start, you know, join the community, use what you're doing to kind of start their own growing systems and things like that, and get involved, you know, you can just imagine how quickly this would really cover the whole of the UK, and how many children, how many families, how many people can really kind of benefit from, you know, going back to our roots and that kind of thing. And I think that's, you know, part of the reason we were quite excited to kind of speak to you and put your project out there to our standers, and sort of encourage everybody to have a look, see if it's for them, and have a chat amongst their stands and see whether it's something that they can be involved in, because, you know, we'd as you said, Fee, we feel quite passionately and quite, you know, enthusiastic about what you're doing, fully support it, and yeah, anything that, you know, we can all sort of do to kind of help this grow and spread would be fantastic for you know, everybody everybody really. And that's what we're all about, isn't it? All 3 of us, you know, our intention is purely to try and, you know, make the world a better place. You know, it comes from a place of love and a place of care.
My battery is about to run out. I don't have a spare plug. The time is running.
Yeah, we've got 5 minutes left. I suppose, should we say, yeah, Tom, is there anything?
This is just, you know, black. So we will put all the links to the social media, and what else did we have in there? The website for
not shops. Yeah, we've got a website as well. But we're mainly the main activity. Yeah, the main activity is going on the Telegram channel. That's where everything's kicking off.